Hello. Now, where were we? Sorry for the abrupt cutoff. We're still talking about the video that Earl put up, where the gal was pretending to be a news anchor or a news reporter and telling us what happened. We had decided that her recounting of it was probably not the least biased thing ever, because she was trying to paint the dead man, the landowner who was armed and refused to put his weapon down. She tried to paint him as the victim. Oh, he got shot, this number of times. Well, it doesn't matter. The police had the right to shoot him. Every single officer there had the right to self-defense. As soon as that guy started to pull his gun unlawfully. Now, you can try to argue that he was trying to defend himself, but you don't have a right to defend yourself against arrest, especially not if it's a lawful arrest. So there you go. So she's trying to tie in this license checkpoint as further terrorism by the police against this community. Now, she doesn't show why this checkpoint is tied to the shooting of this guy. It's not a crime scene. That would actually keep people out, but she's trying to make it sound like this license checkpoint is in some way connected, but she doesn't really show anything that would prove a connection. So a guy goes out to the checkpoint to see the checkpoint. Now, I don't know whether or not that was his actual intention, but that's what she's saying. And I'm going to assume, which is probably dumb of me, that she spoke to this guy, that she is somehow related to this guy, not necessarily by blood, but by interest or communication, Facebook, something along those lines. So I'm going to accept that his actual intention of going out there was just to see the license checkpoint. Doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense to me, but I guess your mileage may vary. Sees the checkpoint, flips a U-turn, and starts driving in the opposite direction. Officers are waiting. They're waiting for people to do that. Dodging a checkpoint is evidence that there may be an issue with your license. If there's a licensing checkpoint, you see the licensing checkpoint and decide not to go through it, that's reasonable suspicion that maybe you don't have a license. Now, reasonable suspicion you don't have a license is probably a valid reason to make a traffic stop to verify the license. And the officers executed a traffic stop. Guy gets out. They verify he has a license. He does, in fact, have a license. And that should be the end of it. But it's not. The officers ask him, do you have any weapons on you or in the vehicle? There's a gun. Where's it at? It's in the center console. Which leads me to my next point. Don't talk to the police. I don't know why we keep having to go over stuff like this in this society, in this day and age, with all the PSAs that have been done, not by me. I mean, I know I'm small potatoes, but there are big names out there who've over and over again said, don't talk to the police. You have the right to remain silent. Don't talk to the police. But he tells them there's a gun there. Now these two cops, they have a hard-on because they want this gun. Because, in Georgia, guns are they just don't exist. So if somebody has a gun, obviously there must be something nefarious going on. And they want the gun. They got boners the size of Georgia itself to get this gun. Guns are bad, okay? So now they got to figure out how to get the gun. Now, everything they've done up to this point has been fine. It's been absolutely fine. One of the officers notices that one of the tires is down to the wear bar. So that would be a fix-it ticket, right? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. You write him a fix-it ticket, let him go on his way. But that doesn't get him into the car. And they want to search that car. So they need an arrest. They need to arrest him. Why do they need to arrest him? Well, there's a couple ways you could search post-arrest that are just fine and dandy like sour candy. They're constitutional as all get out. One is the search incident to a lawful arrest. That's typically if you're going to put the guy back in the vehicle. You can search the area that he'd have access to. Well, you can search him, obviously, and you can search the area he'd have access to. So if you're going to issue him a citation and let him go on his merry way, then the officers can search. It's called the wingspan rule, anything that'd be within his wingspan. So not necessarily the trunk, but you could check, the glove box, you could check the glove box, you could check the under the seats, you could, check the center console, etc. Any place where like somebody in the passenger compartment of the vehicle could reach as soon as they release the guy. Now the reason for this is pretty retarded. It's really retarded. It's officer safety, and I'm not saying that officer safety is retarded, but I'm saying that the guy let you arrest him. The guy let you arrest him, didn't pull any guns or anything like that, and then as soon as you release him, you expect him to pull a firearm and then start shooting. That's just dumb. But that's, it's the state of the law, so it's the state of the law. The other method of searching post-arrest, again, very legal, is the inventory search. And the inventory search is if you're going to take the vehicle into your impound yard, you get to search the vehicle. Why do you get to search the vehicle? Well, number one, it protects the person who owns the vehicle. If there's valuables in the vehicle, the cops can take them out and make sure what is there and what isn't there. And so when you get the vehicle back, you get all your stuff back, right? Easy peasy lemon squeezy. The other thing is, cops generally have a distaste for firearms being left in vehicles that are in impound yards because those firearms can disappear. That's a bad thing. Drugs left in impound vehicles can also disappear. That's a bad thing. Dead bodies left in impounded vehicles can cause a mess. So they want to avoid that. And so it's not, the courts have said basically it's not really a search. They're just inventorying everything just to make sure. It's just a paperwork deal, guys. It's just paperwork. And that's all reasonably fun and fine. Now, the officers wanted to do an inventory search. I'm sure they did because then they get to go through everything. That would be if they actually take the vehicle. I don't know why they'd be taking the vehicle. So I think they're really just wanting to do a search incident to a lawful arrest. So what they do, and this is where you should have the problem. What they do is they try to manufacture an arrest. They say, well, we saw that the guy had bald tires, and so we tried to arrest him. He ran from us, so it's resisting arrest, evading arrest, and and that's what they want to arrest him for. Now remember, having the bald tires is a fix-it ticket, and the guy didn't run. So they really did perjure themselves if they in fact arrested him, and it appears that they did. So that's the issue that I would have with it. Searches incident to a lawful arrest, I think they're pretty dumb, but they have been found to be constitutional. As long as you're searching some place that you're going to put the person back into, or that the person has access to while they're being arrested. So if you're holding someone in a room, there's a domestic violence call, you put the person in one of the rooms, although they have allowed it for more areas than just the one room. But you can search that room just to make sure that there's no firearms or anything in there that the person can grab while you're dealing with the situation, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, so the searches aren't really a big deal, but perjuring themselves and arresting the fella, those I think are the big deals, and those are what Earl seems to have missed, and his little friends seem to have missed. The search isn't the big deal. Anything that was found as a result of those searches probably is going to be suppressed. That's not a big deal. But getting arrested just because the cops want to search your vehicle and having them manufacture probable cause to arrest you, because remember, all they had him for was they reasonably suspected that he didn't have a driver's license. They confirmed that he did have a driver's license. So that's done. The only other thing they had was the bald tires. And that's just a fix-it ticket. Or the bald tire, singular. And that's just a fix-it ticket. So there you go. That's where the outrage should really be. I don't think that the cops are terrorizing that Georgia community. I do think that those particular cops need to be, I don't know exactly what needs to happen to them. Do I think that he's going to win any massive lawsuits? Probably not. He might get a settlement out of it if he does sue. It's pretty terrible that they would be perjuring themselves. Those cops should be fired. I don't think we should have cops that are going to perjure themselves. Do I think they committed a crime? You don't see people going to jail over perjury, so Anyway, thanks for watching. I'm sorry about the cliffhanger earlier. I don't know what happened, but obviously I stopped recording. So thanks for watching. Have a great day.